Thanks for joining us on episode 1231 of the Inspired Stewardship Podcast.
I'm Maggie Perotin. I challenge you to invest in yourself, invest in others, develop your influence, and impact the world by using your time, your talent, and your treasures to live out your calling. Having the ability to dream, plan, and do is key. And one way to be inspired to do that is listen to this, the Inspired Stewardship Podcast with my friend Scott Nader. Is that lead by example, lead yourself first. So develop those talents inside you. Then you can look about what are you passionate about and where can you contribute? Because truly it's so much easier to contribute when you're passionate about it. And it could start again with your family. If you're a young parent.
Welcome and thank you for joining us on the Inspired Stewardship Podcast. If you truly desire to become the person who God wants you to be, then you must learn to use your time, your talent, and your treasures for your true calling. In the Inspired Stewardship Podcast, you will learn to invest in yourself, invest in others, and develop your influence so that you can impact the world.
In today's interview with Maggie Perotin, Maggie shares with you what she believes stewardship really is. Maggie also talks with you about the key principles that she believes help you make a dent in the universe. And I also asked Maggie about the legacy that she hopes to leave behind.
One reason I like to bring you great interviews like the one you're going to hear today is because of the power in learning from others. Another great way to learn from others is through reading books. But if you're like most people today, you find it hard to find the time to sit down and read. And that's why today's podcast is brought to you by Audible. Go to inspiredstewardship.com/audible to sign up, and you can get a 30-day free trial. There's over 180,000 titles to choose from, and instead of reading, you can listen your way to learn from some of the greatest minds out there. That's inspiredstewardship.com/audible to get your free trial and listen to great books the same way you're listening to this podcast.
Maggie Perotin lives in Canada in the Toronto area with her blended family and 4 kids. She is a self-development geek, loves nature, traveling, and good food. She holds an executive MBA from Jack Welch Management Institute and has over 14 years of experience in various corporate leadership positions. As an international business and leadership coach, Maggie helps service-based entrepreneurs make the income they want in their business and become outstanding leaders in the process. Through her Dream, Plan, Do coaching model, she supports her clients in becoming confident CEOs by aligning their mindset, business skills, and high-performance habits. This allows them to transform their business from an unreliable source of income to a client-attracting diamond. Welcome to the show, Maggie.
Thank you. Thank you, Scott, for having me. I'm happy to be here.
So, Maggie, one of the questions that I like to ask everyone is about my brand. My brand is Inspired Stewardship. I run things through that lens of stewardship. So similar to last week when we asked about defining leadership, how do you define the word stewardship and how has that understanding had an impact on your life?
So when I think about it, and again, might be a different understanding.
That's the whole point to ask you the question is everybody has a different definition. So
is taking care of the assets you have. And by assets, again, let's talk about leadership, the talents that you already have. We're all unique. We all have value to offer, okay? Whether you believe in God or not, but God didn't put you on earth here for nothing by just like fluke. You're here and you have talents, unique talents to you. And when you grow them, when you nurture them, so stewardship, nurture them and grow them to help others and to make your world, even if it's just your world, your family, a better place. For me, that's what stewardship is. And you know what? I want to talk I'm not a practicing Catholic, but I was born Roman Catholic. I was raised in that faith. So there is this, don't remember, but there is this parable in I think it's an Old Testament. And it's funny because as a child, I never understood it. And maybe it was the priests that didn't explain it, but now I understand it. about I think it's three brothers where the father gives them talents.
The parable of the talents. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're servants and the Lord gives them.
Oh, they're
talents.
servants. You're right. They're servants. And then one goes and takes those talents and grows them and maximizes them for their master, whatever. And the other one does this, but it's maybe like more risk or less risk averse and does a little bit. And the other one hides it. And then so that the master rewards the one that actually takes the risk and uses those talents to maximize them. So as a child, I couldn't get it. I couldn't because I was just thinking about the money. I'm like, but he was safe. He kept the safe thing, right? Like, why was
he didn't lose the money?
rewarded?
All he did is gave him back
money,
exactly
right?
the same amount. Yeah.
But when I think about it, not the money, but our skills and our talents that we already have in us, it is our duty to go out there and make them better so we can serve others, not as servants and masters. That's like we're throwing that out, but helping others. And that's how we lead. That's how we are leaders. So that's how I understand.
And the parable of the talents is actually in Matthew. So it's in the Gospel of Matthew, or at least that's the most kind of famous version that people use, just to locate it for anyone that's interested. So with that in mind, if someone really wants to make a dent in the universe, make a change in their world, as you mentioned, what are some of the top principles that you think that they really need to learn or focus on?
As we said before, and we talked about this, is that lead by example, lead yourself first. So develop those talents inside you. Then you can look about what are you passionate about? And where can you contribute? Because truly, it's so much easier to contribute when you're passionate about it. And it could start again with your family. If you're a young parent, be the best parent you can be. And then maybe when your children go to school, maybe help others in school or whatever, right? Wherever your passion is. And when you never stop growing, your perspective on the world, your perspective on the things will change. When you're open to different opinions, growing yourself and so on, you will feel, I truly believe you will feel the calling to help others just because of that. And then being compassionate, being open and wanting to serve, when you put yourself in service, and again, whatever you are, that's how you can grow and contribute to the world. Because sometimes we think that, we think of contribution like, I have to be an activist and go there and be on the streets. And that's not me, whether I'm scared of it or so on. Or I have to be in politics, or I have to be. No, you don't have to be. You can contribute to the world in your own way. So find your way that you feel passionate about, that feels good for you and so on, and start there, whatever that is.
So this is my favorite question of all of the episodes over the last few weeks. This is the question that I love to ask every guest. So if I invented this magic machine and I could pluck you from the seat where you sat today and transport you into the far future, and magically you were able to look back on your entire life and see all of the impacts and all of the ripples and all of the changes that have happened because of you, what impact do you hope you've left behind on the world?
That I help to grow many leaders, thousands of leaders in this world. And I do it now through helping entrepreneurs grow. But I truly believe that when you embrace the leadership and leading yourself, it doesn't only affect your business and grow your business, it affects your personal life. And as you say, and that has a ripple effect. So yes, that's where I see myself, helping leaders grow.
So what's coming next for you? What's on the roadmap as you continue on this journey?
For me is as really that, growing my business by helping more and more entrepreneurs become truly high performing, amazing leaders in their business. Because and I work with passionate entrepreneurs who have mission to their business and through their business want to impact the world. So the more I help them, the more impact they create to their customers and to people around them. And that again trickles and creates that ripple effect. So for me, that's really what it is. How
would you describe your ideal client for someone who's listening that maybe is thinking, oh, maybe I need to work with Maggie. How do you describe your ideal client?
My ideal client is a service-based entrepreneur who is passionate about their business and want to grow their business long-term. So it's not like a hobby for 2 years or 1 year, but I'm committed to growing it long-term, making a positive impact through my services to my customers, and wants to grow it from the foundation up, proper way, not like a shortcut. Oh, I want to be a millionaire in 3 days. And I believe in those magic shortcuts. I'm not about that. I'm not going to promise anything like that to my customers. And then I have 2 offers that I offer right now. So for somebody who's just starting and they're either not making any money or just really starting and want to get to more of a consistent income, like good 5 figures, then I have a small group program. And then for somebody who's already maybe past $75,000 a year and want to scale past that to 6 figures or multiple 6 figures, then I do one-on-one.
You can follow Maggie on Twitter as stairway_2. She's also on LinkedIn as Maggie Perotin, spelled Perotin. Of course, you can find out more about Maggie and her coaching over at stairwaytoleadership.com. Maggie, is there anything else you'd like to share with the listener?
I want to say, reach out. Let's have a conversation. I love to. If there is anything that spoke to you over the last 4 episodes that you just want to chat about, not even become my clients, just reach out. You can find me on all those social media or on my website, stairwaytoleadership.com. I would love to have a chat.
Thanks so much for listening to the Inspired Stewardship podcast. As a subscriber and listener, we challenge you to not just sit back and passively listen, but act on what you've heard and find a way to live your calling. If you enjoyed this episode, please do us a favor. Go over to inspiredstewardship.com/iTunes rate, all one word, iTunes rate. It'll take you through how to leave a rating and review and how to make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so that you can get every episode as it comes out in your feed. Until next time, invest your time, your talent, and your treasures. Develop your influence and impact the world.